Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Creatively Purple. Today we're going to be working the waffle stitch. Now here I have a sample, and the waffle stitch, you start with a chain in multiples of 3 plus 4. So for instance, this sample is a chain 12 plus 4, so that's a 16. So I chained 16 to achieve this sample here. When working the waffle stitch, you're repeating rows 2 and 3 over and over. So you have your chain, and then you have your row 1, which will be double crochets, and then row 2 will be the start of your waffle stitch, and then row 3 is the back of the waffle stitch. Now, when you're working with a blanket or a washcloth, whatever your project may be, to know how many chains you need to start your project, just count your chains in multiples of 3 and then measure it. And once you get to the length that you desire, then just add your 4 extra chains, and then you can start working your double crochets into row 1. All right, so I'm just gonna move this to the side, and I'm gonna grab my yarn. So to start, you're going to create your slip knot. Once you've done that, you're going to chain your desired length. So that's chain 3, so chaining in multiples of 3, and then adding your 4 extra chains. So I'm going to chain 12, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then my plus 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that I have my chains, I'm going to work row 1, which is double crochets. So we're going to yarn over, and we're going to insert our hook into the second chain from the hook. So here's the first, and here's the second. So I'm just going to insert my hook, and I'm going to finish my double crochet. Now I'm going to work into the next chains 1 double crochet. So here's my next chain, and I'm going to do a double crochet. So feel free to pause the video at any point until you've reached the end of your row. So now we've reached the end of the row. I'm just going to put my last double crochet. All right, so now that I've done row 1, we're now going to do row 2. So row 2 will be the front here. So we'll have a front post double crochet, and then we're going to have 2 double crochets, and then another front post double crochet. So we're going to chain 1, turn our work. We're going to put a double crochet into the base of that chain 1 space. So we're just going to go to the very first stitch, and we're going to create a double crochet. Now the next stitch will be to yarn over and go to the front of your work, go behind your post, and then put your hook through the front. So we're just going to be working on the front post double crochet. So again, you're just going to insert your hook to the front of your work, behind the post, come back out the front, pull your yarn through, and then complete your double crochet. And now you've done a front post double crochet. Now we're going to work double crochets into the next 2 stitches. So here's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. And now again, we're going to work our next front post double crochet. So I'm just going to go to the front of my work, go behind the post and come back out the front, pull my yarn through and complete my double crochet. And now I've just completed the front post double crochet. Now again, we're going to work double crochets into the next 2 stitches. So right at the top of the stitch, you're going to put your double crochet and another double crochet. And now we're going to work another front post double crochet. So again, you're just going to go into the front, you're going to go around your post, come back out the front and pull through your yarn and then finish your double crochet. And you're going to repeat this until you get to the last 2 stitches on your row. All right, now that we are at our 2 last stitches, what we're going to do is we're going to create our last front post double crochet. And then into this stitch here, we're just going to create a double crochet. Oh, forgot to yarn over. All right, so now we've just completed row 2. Now we're going to go and do row 3. So you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and now in this row, we're going to be working double crochets and then 2 front post double crochets. So again, you're going to yarn over and you're just going to start your first double crochet into the base of your chain. So here's the first double crochet. And then the next stitch will be another double crochet. And now you're going to work 2 front post double crochets into the next stitches. So here's the first double crochet, front post double crochet. And now we're going to go to the next stitch and work in a front post double crochet. And then we're going to work a double crochet into the next stitch. And now we're going to work front post double crochets into the next 2 stitches. So here's 1, 2, and now we're going to work a double crochet into the top of the next stitch. And you're just going to repeat this until you get to the last 2 stitches on your row. So feel free to pause and join us when you've reached the end of your 2 remaining stitches. All right, so I've reached the end of the 2 remaining stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 double crochets into the tops of each stitch. So here's 1. So double crochet into the 2 next stitches. So there was 1 and here is the second. Now that we're done row 3, now we're going to be repeating rows 2 and 3 over again until we've reached the desired length of our project. So you're going to chain 1. And so here you can see that we have the start of the waffle And now by doing row 2, we're going to complete the waffle. And so we're just going to yarn over, insert the hook into the base of the chain, and create our first double crochet. Then you're going to work a front post double crochet into the next stitch. And now we're going to work double crochets into the next 2 stitches. So at the top of the stitch, you're going to do your double crochet. And now a front post double crochet into the next stitch. And now in the next 2 stitches, we're going to work the double crochet. So here's 1 double crochet, and then a second double crochet, and then a front post double crochet into the next stitch, and now a double crochet into the top of the next stitch, a second double crochet into the top of the next stitch, and now I'm going to do a front post double crochet into the next stitch, and now a double crochet into the top of the next stitch, a second double crochet into the next stitch, and now we're at the end of the row with the 2 last stitches remaining, so we're going to do a front post double crochet into the next stitch, and then into our last stitch we're going to add our double crochet. And now we've completed row 2, and now we're going to be doing row 3. So we're going to chain, turn our work, and you're going to yarn over and insert your hook into the base of the chain and create your first double crochet. And now I'm going to work another double crochet into the top of the next stitch. And now I'm going to be working front post double crochets into the next 2 stitches. So here's the first post, my first double crochet, and now for the second post, and now we're going to work a double crochet into the top of the next stitch, and we are going to create front post double crochet into the next one, a second front post double crochet, and now we're going to work a double crochet, we're going to work a front post double crochet into the next stitch, a second front post double crochet into the next stitch, and again a double crochet in the top of the next stitch. And now we're going to be doing our next 2 front post double crochets. So here's 1 and 2. And now we're going to work our 2 double crochets in the tops of the next 2 stitches. So our last 2. So there's 1 and 2. All right, so let's say you want to finish your project. Say you reached the desired length that you would want. You want to make sure that you finish your project on row 2. And the reason for this is because we just finished row 3 and now I'm turning my work. You can see the incomplete waffle. So if you want to finish with a completed waffle, then you're going to want to do row 2 and then turn your work and finish off with your double crochet. Or if you like this this look, well then you can finish on row 3 and that will be fine. But I'll show you what it looks like when you finish on row 2. So we're going to chain 1, and I'm going to add a double crochet into the base, and now I'm going to do in the next stitch my front post double crochet, and now the double crochets into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and 2, and then a front post double crochet into the next, double crochets into the next 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then a front post double crochet into the next stitch, and then again double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Whoopsies, lost my yarn. All right, so there's 1 and 2, and then a front post double crochet, and then crochet 2 double crochets. So here's 1 in the top of the next stitch, a double crochet, which makes 2, and then we have our 2 stitches left, so we're going to do a front post double crochet and finish our last stitch with a double crochet. All right, so now that the row is completed, you have your finished waffle. And so now to complete your project, you're just going to chain 1 and then turn, and then you can finish with do double crochet for the end. So you're just going to work double crochets along the entire row. All right, so now that we're at the end of the row, I'm going to add the 3 last stitches. So there's 1, 2, and 3. All right, so now that we're done our row, you're just going to pull your yarn through. So you're just going to cut your yarn, leave it long enough for you to weave in. And there is your waffle stitch. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, just comment below. I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. Until next time.